2, 1. This is Titanfall 2. Obviously, as a sequel to Titanfall, it is based on a heavily modified source engine, so we share some of the same movement techniques. We've got stuff like, obviously, bunny hopping, air strafing, and some other stuff that you'll see during the run. We've got a lot of really interesting and awesome tricks, like missing these tutorial lights. But we're just going to get going with the game at the first. This first level is the Pilot Gauntlet. It is basically a big tutorial for the movement. You start off with a singular jump rather than like your actual double jump, and then it like gradually eases you into like your double jump, weapons, grenades, and stuff like that. So you can see here that what I did at first was I ran forward with a sprint, jumped, and then crouched. That basically gives us an extra boost of speed, which allows us to go really fast. We'll be using that as well as wall running. We can't wall run here until Lastimosa finishes his actual dialogue. Oh, nice. And we can't get over this gap here until he says simple double jump, where your double jump actually activates. So now we're just going to go over to the training hall, where we're actually going to have to shoot a few targets, and then we're going to have to do the actual gauntlet itself, which is like a small time trial. Time trial is based on how many targets you kill and obviously how fast you go. We don't really care about targets in the speedrun. We just want to go and get through it really fast. It's off. On the way through, we're going to be grabbing a frag grenade. This frag grenade is one of 2 frag boosts that we'll be using during the run. Try and get the good frag grenade here. I use a kind of weird route, but it's safer than the route that I usually try and do, so we're just going to be frag boosting through here.
Speed is paramount, but you must also hit your targets. The gauntlet is where we practice your skills until their second nature.
Yeah, cool. So now you're going to see a dialogue choice from Lastimosa pop up. You can also see the difficulty set to regular. By going back in and out of here, we actually reset Lastimosa's dialogue. And now you'll see that I'm picking specific dialogue options. At certain points in the game, we want to pick specific dialogue options that are either faster or slower in one special case. And you can see in this room that I'm just doing the air strafing, where if you keep going, like I think it's like left and right, you'll like keep up your momentum and you'll be able to like keep speed. But for the rest of this, unfortunately, it's just basically some world building, some lore building. Can't do anything. And then here's a tutorial about how to call in your Titan. Lastimosa thinks that's his Titan. That's not your Titan. I want to be a little careful here because there's a weird little glitch. I think it's a glitch anyway, where if you call in your Titan on the exact same frame, I think it is, BT will blow up and then you'll have to restart from the checkpoint, which it's really weird, but yeah. The run itself has seen a lot of improvements over the last few weeks and months. We found a lot of new skips thanks to a lot of new runners who have come into the community. We, in fact, have recently, as in the last 2 weeks, found a dialogue skip that we have been hoping to find a consistent way for the past, like, 4 or 5 months. So that's completely new and that's exciting. And I'll describe that one when we get there.
We're going to see a new planet today. Maybe even die on it.
That's definitely not foreshadowing, by the way.
See you down there, Rifleman. Good luck.
And the symbol of Titanfall 2, the thumbs up. So, menuing is a little weird in this new patch, and I'll admit that I haven't actually been able to practice it too much. Did you see how very briefly it actually started on easy, which is obviously the difficulty that we want, because master difficulty, the only difference is you die in like 2 hits, and enemies will track you through walls, so it's a little unfair. So for obviously going fast for speedrun purposes, we want to do it on easy. It just makes more sense. But if you saw with the menu, it very, very briefly sat on easy. There was a glitch found very recently where you could kind of stack Titan cores and kind of like double them up and gain infinite core. Respawn have fixed that by making it so the actual menu like goes onto the top of the menu or something for like a second. So in quite a few places during the run, we'll actually be changing Titan loadout. And what we used to do was change Titan loadout really quickly to both reload and obviously change to a different one. That menu bug, glitch, feature also happens in the Titan loadout. So I have to ram it home in my head whilst I'm not practiced that the menuing that I've learned for the last 4 or 5 months doesn't count for anything anymore. So I'm going to have to remember to try and use the mouse as much as possible. So unfortunately, the only thing that I would say against the speedrun, in speedrun terms, is that these opening like 9.5 minutes, unfortunately, they're very cutscene heavy, and unfortunately we don't, well, you can't skip cutscenes in this game. So we're going to get about 15 to 30 seconds of gameplay in a second, where hopefully we'll get in some really good movement. There'll be an NPC who loves sitting in the way. He is an absolute legend. And if you slow down even a little bit here, there's a piece of debris that will come in from the right-hand side that will kill you if you're not fast enough. You're obviously supposed to wait, but obviously being a speedrunner, you can just go fast. So hopefully I can hit this real quick. This guy right there. And we're good. We want to pick up one of these guns on the way, the R201. This is going to serve us for quite a while. Not as long as we used to, but for about 4 or 5 levels. And again, we're just going to get a few cutscenes for a little bit. It's going to build up the world building, the lore building, the enemies. We're basically going to get like a little look at who we're going to be fighting here. The plot itself will actually like start unraveling as we go through the game. And despite what I said about the menu bug, I actually want to give a shout out now to Respawn for being absolutely brilliant with us. They have helped us with the speedrun in numerous ways. They have been fantastic with us. There was a patch a few patches ago where they changed how one of the Titans kind of interacted. The first one, Expedition, which is the one you get in this level. I only changed it a tiny bit at the start of the end of the level, but like they didn't have to change it back for us. But Respawn, like they were amazing, and they actually changed it back for us. So like I really want to shout out Respawn for being amazing. Most people like when they hear about a Titanfall speedrun, they don't think that Titanfall 2, like the thing we hear the most is like, you can speedrun Titanfall 2, and obviously it came out last year. It came out in between Battlefield 1, literally the week in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty, and was obviously in the same year as Doom, so it obviously is going to get talked about less, which is a shame because it's an absolutely fantastic campaign, both to speedrun and to play casually. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. We're going to gain control very momentarily in a second here. Poor old Lastimosa got apparently a little injured and had a little bit of meme dialogue with 18 hours. That is, when you run the game as long as we have, a lot of the dialogue in this game becomes a little bit of a meme. Stuff like 18 hours becomes one heck of a meme. We got a nice wake up from the locals. Now we're just going to go and see old Lastimosa and BT. We want to switch to our pistol here as well, because we're replacing the pistol with a shotgun that's like right over there. And that shotgun will stay with us a bit longer than the R201. Poor old Lastimosa's not in good shape.
BT, transfer authorization to new pilot. Link, Bravo Tango 7274. Cooper, take my Titan. Use my helmet in my jump kit. This is the real thing. Take care of him.
Probably shouldn't have foreshadowed your own death there, Lastimosa. Not smart. So now the run is going to begin properly. As the run begins, we've taken his jump kit and his helmet. We have not fully synced to it yet, so we're only going to have a single jump up until a specific point. For the first part of this, it's mostly going to be like optimized movement. My movement, I will fully admit, is not that amazing, So I'm really, really hoping there's 2 bits in this first bit that I don't die on, because it's surprisingly easy to die on. One of them we call Death River, which I'll explain as we get there. It's got a wonderful name. But we want to take that shotgun there. Oops, lost my speed a little bit. Now we want to get going. So we're going to be using like the bunny hopping in conjunction with air strafing to try and keep our momentum up and go fast. There are collectibles in the level. We don't need them, obviously, but we might be doing like all collectibles on the leaderboard. This is one of the jumps that I'm a little worried about whilst doing, so I'm just going to take it a little easy so that I don't die. You can get over that with the normal jumps that I was doing, but I kind of messed up my approach, if I'm being honest, so... And you don't want to go the route I took there, 'cause it's actually a bit slow. These little outcrops on the land, you can actually stop them. Instead of going all around here, we want to go up here. You can get across there, but I don't trust myself right now, so I'm just going to go up here. And now we're coming up to Death River. Death River is very nice because it's basically got a few physical trees around. That tree there, for example, is physical. I just took a little step back so I can build my momentum back up to get across in one jump. You can do it in one fluid momentum, but it's hard. It's kind of ridiculous. Shoot him so he doesn't go after me. And as soon as we go across this wall here, we're going to get our double jump back. So as soon as we're on this wall, I'm going to cloak so that I don't have his attention. I'll take the easy route. And now we've got our double jump back. So what we're doing now is we're just going to get... oops. We're going to get the batteries to repower up BT. The first one is in here. There is a slide here, which can either be good or bad. That's decent. I'll take that. And then there's the first battery. We're going to be going back now to take the battery back to BT. There's a slide in a second, which can go fast, it can go slow. Hopefully I can get it fast. We're about to find out.
You have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, we have $20 from Norcom, who says, here's your friendly reminder that in Titanfall 2's multiplayer modes, weapon spread and recall is client-side. Good job, Respawn. Anyway, super hyped to see this fantastic game, Rom. Good luck, Frob.
Thank you. So that was a bad grenade. I was supposed to kill all of those with that grenade, and I killed no one. So we're coming up to River Skip now. Usually you go down there and go to the right, but what we found out is you can go up here. I'm going to take it a little easy. And there's an invisible ramp there. So you can just go straight over, which is absolutely wonderful. It saves about 10-15 seconds, I think, something like that. So again, now we just want to have good optimized movement. You can get across this gap from there to there. I'm not confident on it, so I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to play it a little safe. Ah, poor guy. We want to. You'll see that I'm like bouncing off the walls mostly as soon as I hit them. We want to try and keep up our momentum and keep our speed going. And again, all these little trees around are slightly physical. You can boost off of that tree. I don't trust that tree. That tree and me have a history. No, I dislike it. And then you can skip over here. Going to use our cloak. You start off with cloaking ability. It basically makes the AI like not notice you in the slightest. And in the ship is going to be the second battery.
BT, who is this voice?
This is one of the dialogue choices that actually isn't important, but I'm going to try and do as many dialogue choices as I can to try and like flesh out the plot, apart from those that are obviously necessary to do. I'm going to spam space here to try and get through here really fast. Kind of decent, not great. Okay, second battery. Lovely little tutorial. So we're going to head back to BT now. We've got a few enemies coming in at the end here. Flip grenade. Okay, good. So now that we've replaced the last battery in BT, we're going to have to link up with him, which is just going to basically be a tutorial for BT himself.
Power at full capacity. We must establish a neural link in order to proceed. Please embark when ready.
So we're going up to the end of this level. The end of this level, there's a brute fight. It used to be a lot nicer, like 2 months ago, before one of the first free play weekends. The brute itself, we have an ability that throws up like an electric smoke cloud that damages over time. For some reason, the AI stood in it before, but doesn't anymore. So we kind of have to work a little harder now.
You are now confirmed.
But thankfully, we found like a river skip after that to save the time that we lost.
Protocol 2. Uphold the mission. Our orders are to resume Special Operation 217. Rendezvous with Major Anderson of the SRS. I'm detecting incoming enemy forces.
So, we're being shot at here. We can't move with BT just yet. We can only use his actual abilities. We first get, I think it's Vortex Shield, where obviously we're being shot at, and we can just gather all the bullets, and then let them go and kill all the enemies. We'll be doing this for just a tiny bit until we can use Missile Salvo. I'm going to wait deliberately on these ones, because there's going to be 4 enemies that come in through the bottom I want to kill. There, nice.
Pilot, the Acolyte pod is online.
So we get the Acolyte pod. It's basically homing missiles. Try and kill all the targets possible. I missed one there, but that's fine. How are you alive? I kind of don't want to use all of it too much because I want to wait for these last 4 at the end. Be good. Sweet.
Pilot, enemy Titanfall detected. We will have to
And
find
this is the
our
fastest
way to
dialogue choice hit.
Get ready.
You sure about this?
Yes, trust me.
So here comes the enemy dropping in. Enemies in this game drop in dependent on where you're looking. I believe that's the case anyway with all of them. Throws back at me? Here you are. Nice. It's really nice when he throws those back at you. I could have shot him a few more times to do that a bit quicker, but it's really nice when he throws those back at you because you can just catch them and throw them back and play a little bit of tennis with the guy. But sometimes he'll just run off. And it's kind of frustrating. Cool. And that's the end of BT7274. If we've got any donations, we've got a bit of time for it.
We are currently out of donations, but I can take this time to remind you that we do have the robot bid war still going on. Either to kill the robot or hurt the robot's feelings.
Yep, that should be going on for another 30-ish minute, I think. So this is Blood and Rust, one of our first big major skips that we found, like way back in November, December is on this level. For most of the start of this, we'll be just going around in BT, trying not to get punched too hard by these guys. And we'll be picking up the first of our new Titan loadouts on the way. It's Tone. We'll be using it quite a few places during this run. Tone will be using against the first boss, Kane, who's at the end of this level. Probably should have done that, but I don't think that matters. So there's Tone on the ground there. It's basically, it's a little stronger against single targets, but you can also do a lot of good multi-targets with the actual missile and the tracking, which I'll show off a bit later.
I think somebody's in love.
A human's concept of love.
Here we're gonna, well, I'm gonna try and do a disembark jump. I'm gonna do it the safe way because I haven't been hitting it in practice recently. I didn't get it. So when you jump out of BT, if you're jumping at the right time, you can actually like get a bigger, massive jump, and then like basically jump a lot higher. So you can just skip out all of this. But I've not been hitting it in practice. But by coming up here the way we did, we've skipped out going all the way up there, around and down through the thing that we came through. So for this, it's going to be a lot of like just optimized movement, trying to get through here as fast as possible without hitting too many obstacles. I didn't really jump there. And again, we're just going to be doing the same way. We want to try and kind of bounce off the walls as soon as we hit them. Oops, kind of lost momentum a little bit there. Instead of going to the right here, like normal, we're just going to go to the left. It's a lot quicker and it's a lot safer. We're going to use our cloak because there are a lot of snipers on the right-hand side. these corridors are going to be a little bit of a pain in the backside. Especially when you go into the NPCs like that. Ah. Cool. Okay. So we're going to be coming up again. We're going to be coming up to the skip, which is the sludge skip. It's at the end of this level. We're intentionally going to be picking slow dialogue choices coming up to make sure that BT stays in place so that he doesn't move. The reason is we're going to be going through BT through a fence, so that because he stays in place, we can actually get inside of him earlier. This corridor can be a pain in the backside as well.
There is a deceased prowler in conjunction with A, requesting immediate removal.
Cool. So we're going on it now. The first dialogue choice will be when we get to the top of this. Again, you're supposed to go around, but again, we just go straight up.
Pilot, our paths will intersect just up ahead.
So the first dialogue choice we want to do is missing me already.
Pilot, our path through this facility is blocked by a flow regulation gate.
Missing me already?
Did it a little early, but it's fine. There's a second one afterwards.
Violation of Protocol 3.
So what we want to do is we want to go and hit the switch up at the top so that we don't actually crash the game. I've forgotten to do that sometimes.
I guess that's why they pay me the big bucks.
Hopefully I hit this first time. Got it. Whew. I was scared of that one. I specifically waited there for the marking your HUD bit because otherwise you can, I think, soft lock there. And again, there's that problem. I pressed down and obviously it didn't go down. I'm going to have to really remember to actually use the mouse for those sections. It's a pain in the backside because later on there's going to be a level where we just basically switch Titan loadouts like constantly. So it's going to be a big pain in the backside when we get there. For Kane, I'm going to have to change up my approach a little bit.
You were not invited to Kane's party, and that's why you're dead. Well, another runaway hero with an SRS Vanguard class Titan. Woo! Now we're talking. Bring it.
Deal's birthday, man. So good old Kane, he's a lovely guy. What I want to do is I want to basically lock onto him, and then when you locked onto them and you use the missile pod, you can actually use all of the missiles and they'll go through the brute. When he's using flame shield like that, you can't actually hit him. I was waiting for that so I could use my core afterwards, because otherwise he just basically eats up all of your shots. Careful of that fire, otherwise I will die to it. So normally using core there is actually pretty slow. You want to be zoomed in and shooting Kane in his weak spot, which ironically is the big red thing on the front. Those crit shots do more damage, I think, than core. Core is just slower in general, but because of the fact that we can't quick loadout change anymore, I don't know if it's quicker to use core or not, but it's easier. Haven't been able to practice it too much, unfortunately, because it's literally only occurred within like the last day or two, which is kind of frustrating. But what can you do?
Copy. Got myself 3 captured militia. What should I do with them?
Just kill him.
So we're just waiting for the level transition now.
The ability to decrypt enemy communications has a strong history in warfare. This will work to our advantage. In order to survive, we must keep moving.
Cool. Not a bad Blood and Rust, actually. I was very worried about sludge skip, I'm not gonna lie. That's like the first big one that's like really easy to mess up. It looks simple, but it's actually ridiculously easy to just mess it up. So this is Into the Abyss. This is the first of a few levels that have actually 3 parts to it. This first part, we're just going to be going with BT through the facility. There is another new Titan loadout on the way, another one that I'll be using a lot in this run. It is called Scorch, which is right here. You'll see it actually at the end of Abyss 1. Basically, Scorch allows you to place like these canisters on the floor where Scorch is basically obviously fire, and if you use some of the attacks on those canisters that you put down on the floor, you can create a damaging pool underneath enemies, which like really destroys them. And Scorch Core as well is like a giant, massive wall of fire that just goes straight, and that basically takes out a lot of Titans in its path. So when I get to that level that I was mentioning later on, probably going to be changing to Scorch a lot. Maybe in a few other places as well. Obviously, we're going to be doing it at the end of this level, like I said. There's going to be 3 Titans in kind of a small enclosed space coming up. When we get there, I'll basically be putting one of those traps into the actual room, shoot ability forward, and then I'm going to put one at my feet and then use Flame Shield, which replaces Vortex Shield. And that basically like is a damaging AOT over time, and it also basically eats like bullets and stuff, but we use it basically to like burn enemies up. So I have to defer my actions for a second, so... Not bad. This is Brute that we're picking up here as well. I will get into Brute when we get into Abyss 3. It's going to be very, very important for a skip coming up. If we can get through this room quick enough, we can actually get out on the other side. Actually get out on the other side early enough for a crane to push us along helpfully. Surprised I hit that guy. No. I was gonna say, I'm not gonna risk it, that crane's pushing me off. So there's actually a kill field at the bottom of this level. You're supposed to, obviously to transition normally, you're supposed to hit that switch and then ride the lift down. As soon as you hit that switch, the kill field disappears and you can just basically transition to the next level by just jumping down there. This is Abyss 2. I'm going to try and make things look fast and really cool. None of it is going to matter. This level is basically cycle-based, so the stuff that I'm going to be doing at the start here, well, this stuff is fine, but the stuff that I do in a bit is not actually going to be that important. I'm going to be trying to go for a fast jump, because I always go for this fast jump. And knowing me, I'm probably going to die to it, but we'll see when we get there. But again, it doesn't matter like if you go a little slowly, because it's cycle based. You basically you can catch up to the first platform. Like even if you go like intentionally slowly, you can catch up to the first platform. So any death on this level actually costs you something like 30 seconds. It's kind of awful. Get onto this. Line myself up with the 4th one. 1, 2, 4. And then I want to try and I'm gonna quick save just in case. I'm going to line myself up with this. I don't think I'm going to get it. I have got... yeah. Hit the ceiling, unfortunately. If you basically go really fast there, or if you hit like the railing and don't hit the ceiling like I did, you can basically clear all of this in one go. But again, it's cycle-based, so it doesn't matter too much. Because we got here early and these platforms are supposed to make a bridge here, what we're going to do instead is we're going to climb these cranes. We're actually going to get up there. I'm going to use a little bit of air strafing here to make sure that we actually get across. I take, again, a little bit of a longer setup, and again, it doesn't matter because obviously we have plenty of time. We have plenty of time to get over. Oh, hello. Okay, so importantly, on this level, a new thing, we need to pick up a Spitfire. It is a machine gun that has 80 bullets in it and is really strong. We need it for the new skin that's only been found within the last week. I have a guy that I like to kill to get it off of. But again, see that platform up ahead? That's the first platform. So again, even if you can do this level like really impressively looking, we've caught up. It doesn't matter now. Like, we can't go any further. Which is a shame, but it does still look pretty cool. There is stuff that does matter towards the end of the level. Shoot him because he's being a bit rude. But the guy that I want to kill is coming up in a second. Kind of jumps a little late here. Oh, that's unfortunate. Almost killed myself. It's fine. Where did you go? There you are. Hello, sir. EU aim for you. Really bad aim, actually. Where's this Spitfire gone? You have to find another Spitfire. Gents. Spitfire. Beak, don't want a devotion, that's for sure. Ah, it's a Spitfire. And the first platform's here. If I don't hurry up, I'm going to miss my ticket out of here. It's fine. Everything is fine. Cool, so now we're going to ride this towards the end, and we're going to come up to a climbing section. You're supposed to wait and climb, but we can actually climb up the right-hand side, which is actually like a little bit faster. And then we have something that's really cool coming up.
You okay?
I'm undamaged. However, I do not believe this is a food processing plant.
My luck, this place is gonna turn itself inside out.
Or upside down, considering the circumstances.
Nice pun, BCM. So we've got the climb coming up in a second. I'm positioned up here intentionally, and I want to kind of be here, which is like slightly in the middle, to get myself enough speed to run along this and to hopefully hit a tree. If you mess this up, it can cost you about 1.5 minutes because you will respawn back over there. So hopefully.
I see you, pilot. I admire your perseverance.
Got it. Okay, so now begins the climb. Could I not fall down? That would be greatly appreciated.
There is only one way out.
So we want to kind of use the corners of these because obviously with the wall riding, Cooper will only like attach to the... I think it's the same wall on a vertical surface once, and then obviously after that, you have to attach yourself to a different wall. So you can see that was actually pretty decent. And now we want to go over here to the other side and want to get on either the 3rd or the 4th tree, because that is the first platform to arise. So this one can be a little hard to see. Be careful not to fall off here. Personal experience. So we had an old trick a long time ago where you used to just sit on that that little like raised ledge at the back and crouch and go backwards, and the level transitions and basically like kind of pushes you through a tiny bit. Instead, we just go out of bounds. That wall doesn't exist. And you get a really cool look of like the level from here. But yeah, basically, we just basically go out of bounds and we go and sit in a specific spot for the level transition now. And that's basically all we do. Before, when we did, because there's supposed to be a big arena fight here, it takes about 5 minutes, but by sitting like literally specifically on that, when the lights are supposed to go dark and the game pushes you through the wall. But yeah, thanks to finding out about the basically the fact that that wall doesn't exist over there, we get this nice kind of like trippy look at an out of bounds. We have an even cooler out of bounds coming up on Abyss 3.
Dynamic Simulation Dome 314.
And hopefully I should be in the right position.
Now,
We are. Cool. Alright, so this is Abyss 3. This is, in my opinion, probably the hardest level to do consistently. Because the start is kind of like small, tight corridors and stuff like that. And the Ash fight used to be really, really kind of hard because she can teleport and like get out of the way of your Scorch Pool. But we're not even going to be fighting Ash anymore. We have this thing called Ash Skip, which I will explain when we get there. Careful not to get thrown out here. If you're holding your crouch, you can get thrown out. Are you serious? Didn't wall run. Oh no. Okay. That was weird. Cool. Well, I'm gonna have to go the normal way now. I'm now lost. You're supposed to go to the right. What you were supposed to do was get up here and then come up here, but for some reason Cooper didn't want to grab onto the rock wall. It can happen sometimes. He can also eat your double jump randomly. I honestly thought I was going to be in a bit of a death loop there because it respawned me and then I died. But fortunately, we're fine. But these caverns are actually really hard to get through. So we're going to get into T now, and we're going to be using the loadout we picked up at the end of Abyss 1 called Brute. Just going to do a bit of air strafe here instead of waiting for the platforms to come along. So he automatically starts, or should automatically start on Brute. I don't know if me dying has changed it. Nope, that's good. You can see on my G ability is VTOL Hover. We're going to be using that to skip the Ash fight. And don't do what I do here and like fire missile pods at these guys because they can get in your way. I don't know why I still do it. I really need to stop doing that, but force a habit. So, also for some reason, these wolves can stop BT completely. Like, don't understand how a small wolf can stop BT. But so we're gonna need a dash here. Dash, boost up. Accidentally made it. Want to try and get on this pipe. which is nice. We want to go over this little rim here, go this wall here, disembark to go out of bounds, re-embark into BT, which pushes him forwards and out of bounds a little bit. Go up here, and we want to be really careful not to go too far to the right to spawn Ash. If we spawn Ash here, unfortunately, we'll get locked into the level until we can kill her, so we really don't want to do that. And again, same here, we want to be a little careful. Should be fine now. There is... I see it just... There's... I've got a little bit of a visual indicator here. We should walk. Yep, good. Grab BT to go inbounds, get back into BT to bring him back inbounds, go over here, boost up here, and then the end level trigger is here, and we've just completely skipped the Ash fight.
We have time for a quick donation?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, we got a $5 anonymous donation saying, "Ayo, this is the Glasses Jacket Shirt Gang. Shouts to our boy FroobMcGuffin. Biggest in the game, major key, question mark."
Thanks, my dudes. You have to be careful not to hit W there because you can actually soft lock. Like, not even just speedrunning, like casually. If you hit W there, there's like a little outcrop on the vent where if you hit, the game will still think that you're infinitely falling and you'll just soft lock. And there's another point like that in ENC2. So with the Ash skip, if you get a completely perfect Ash fight, it's still about I think it's like a tiny bit faster than the Ash skip, but a perfect Ash fight is like literally perfect. So it's most of the time just a lot better and obviously a lot cooler to just do Ash skip. Here you can see that there's some really weird shenanigans going on, some timey-wimey stuff. Here, when I jump out of this window, I'm going to be attempting to get this thing called Rock Boost. There's a small like rock outcropping, and I didn't actually expect to hit the ground that fast there. There's a small rock here that I'm going to try and like get some momentum off of. I missed it. Good job. So unfortunately, I didn't get the momentum from that. I was too far forward. And basically, our original goal was to find Anderson. And we have now found Anderson. He is over here, looking a little worse for wear, unfortunately. Definitely not a good look. So we're going to take his helmet. Just going to leave him to hang out for a bit. I regret saying that, I apologize. And then we're going to go to BT and we're going to have some dialogue for a little bit. Build a bit more plot.
Pilot, bring me his helmet. I will analyze it.
I keep forgetting where to stand for that, so I actually jumped for some reason.
Command of Special Operation 217 now transfers to you. Congratulations on your field promotion, Pilot Cooper.
Grab a bit of shotgun ammo.
Anderson's mission briefing from Commander Sarah Briggs of the Militia SRS.
Major Anderson, 2 weeks ago we intercepted IMC comms. They found something on Titan. A massive blast of energy was discharged at this location, creating time distortions. I want SRS on the ground to infiltrate the facility.
Roger that. I'll get some answers.
This wrist-mounted device we recovered during Operation Grizzly should protect you. We know the IMC had contracted Kuban Blisk and his mercenaries to protect something critical there, so watch your back. And Anderson, you know how much I love writing death reports, so don't go it alone. The SRS is a team.
Guess who went alone? So, the next two levels we're going to basically be seeing Anderson's tale, what he found here, and what they're after.
Recommend we locate Anderson's wrist.
Don't hit X here, it's V. I always make the mistake of picking X here, which is the long dialogue option.
I detect a breach in the security services building. I will provide access.
Cool, so basically the end level trigger is over there. Unfortunately we don't have a way to trigger it early. It would be great if we could find a way to get in like a wall here or something, but unfortunately we don't have anything like that, which is a shame. Use this.
Gotta be an easier way, BT.
I will work on it.
And we're going to wait here, and there's going to be a few more time shenanigans just happening. These stalkers are going to come out of the walls and come to life. The new patch, they're now orange, so that's pretty cool. Not the new patch, about 2 patches ago, actually. And we're just going to basically wait until the door opens. You can walk through these enemies. Run away. These laser grids will push you back, and they will actually kill you, as I found out, by messing around with them like an idiot. I'm actually going to take this a little slowly because you can soft lock here. You can also get thrown out in the middle of the corridor if you go like just like slightly too slow, which then it doesn't trigger you back into it, and then you have to either get up there on the other side and hit the trigger, or you'll have to go around and do it all again. So I'm just going to obviously just take that a bit slowly. This is ENC 2. This is actually my favorite level, I think. There's no real like tricks or anything. It's mostly about the movement. There's a little bit of waiting around, which we'll see in a bit, but we get this now instead of our cloak. It is a time travel device, and it is really cool. So we're just going to go through. We're going to go through the level. Basically, the time travel, if I remember how it was explained to me rightly, the levels are kind of layered on top of one another. So you're basically switching maps. One of them is above the other one. So when you're time traveling, you're basically switching positions on the map, which is why I hit the ground a lot earlier than I expected, back in that corridor on ENC 1. Is there a wolf there? There is. Oh, no way. Do that up there so that we can hopefully get the lift. That's good. And again, we can just walk through him. Hopefully I can get a good elevator climb here. Decent. You want to make sure you're in that corridor before you actually, like... Oops. That. You want to make sure that you're actually in that corridor before you time swip back, because you can get pushed out back into the lift shaft. So I'm going to pick up fire starters here as well. These are important.
It can fold space and time. They sure as hell didn't build it, but they're restoring it. Whatever they're planning, it's potentially catastrophic.
So you'll see that casing looks a little bit familiar to the thing that we saw destroyed outside. That'll come into play in a little bit. So they, those guards T-pose real quick as you go through that door. If I can get a good line up here. Nice. The trigger for this pilot log is actually like literally above this little lisp, and you can actually like stop here. It's really annoying.
Anderson's log 342. The fold weapons power source is called the Arc. Doesn't look like they'd perfected the casing. This one's empty. The Arc must be somewhere else.
Okay, so obviously the Arc has been moved. So we're figuring out that obviously the Arc is this like massive weapon that can be used to obviously... Oh, that was close. Ooh, that was close. We're figuring out that the Arc is obviously a massive weapon that can be used to destroy things and planets. So we obviously don't want them to have a hold of that. It's okay movement. This room's quite nice. You can actually get across to like that platform over there, but again, I'm just going to take it safe. That would have killed me if I went for it. In this time period, obviously that's electrified, so we're just going to switch back to this one. I'm getting a little dangerous with some of these jumps. So we're going to come up to near the end of ENC 2 now. There is another potential to soft lock coming up. Same as before, where there's a tiny little bin at the bottom of this shaft. If you land on it, the game will think you are still free-falling. It is right there behind me. I got a little close. But it's usually mostly easy to get past. I did not want to bounce off of that, but it's fine. Cool, and this is the level trigger. ENC 3 is reasonably short. There's a fair bit of plot in it. There is not exactly a skip. There's something really cool in this level called time stop. I can't pull it off consistently. I will try. I haven't hit it in practice, unfortunately, for a little while. I like shooting that guy for some reason. I missed. So the way I think it works is when you time stop, when you hack this panel, you get flung into the sky. And then when you like come out, you are in such a bad place. That Legion can control you so badly. He's usually supposed to be a lot further out, but if he sits there, he can basically punch you and one-hit kill you. Him being that close is kind of annoying because obviously you saw I had to obviously first time and I hit a wolf. Obviously you can see the arc exploded, so now we're kind of in this, like, this is basically what time stop would have looked like, but just in the normal level. Time stop can only save about like a second or two, but it is still a time save. It's kind of precise to pull off. Cool, and that is the end of ENC 3. So coming up after this set of like dialogue and plot is going to be Abyss 1. Abyss 1 is where our brand new skip comes from. And the reason why we picked the Spitfire up a lot earlier. We're going to need it to be able to kill some enemies. I was actually hitting this in practice, so I really hope... I was hitting this in practice without the Spitfire, so I'm really hoping that I can get it now. To give a bit of a backstory on the skip that's about to come up. Since we've been running this game since it came out back in November, there's a little bit ahead where there's a door that you can't pass over. Well, you can pass over, but it doesn't actually go forward because you need a special trigger. This trigger is a dialogue skip. We haven't been able to find a way to skip this dialogue until about last week. 2 of our members actually figured out that the enemies that are going to be on the wall, the ones that you will see me shoot in a second, they have randomized death timers. So some clever silly Billy, I think that was Tron Travolta, he decided to shoot the enemies and then come back. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go over this kind of like electrified like gas that damages us and we're not supposed to go over. It stops the enemies from spawning. It's not a good start. Gotta go a little faster than this. Sometimes my game does glitch out and doesn't spawn me with the Spitfire, so I'm actually very glad to see it. I did not grab the wall. I'm going a bit too slow, unfortunately. Still hopefully get a majority of it. Even if I do this, it should still at least give me like a slight bit of the dialogue skip. The reason why we want the Spitfire is because we want to obviously hit all of these, which can be a little tricky, so you want something with a lot of ammo, and also, as you've seen in this run, my aim is not great. So now I want to try and get back to BT. I'm definitely a bit slow for this, unfortunately. Yeah, you're supposed to get back to BT before this dialogue, and it works, I believe. I'm going back up here on purpose so that I can pick up this, which is Titan loadout. It is running. Oh, we got it. We got it. Nice. So you see threat neutralized up there? That's basically the dialogue skip. So you can see that even if you mess it up a little bit like I did, it's still well worth doing, because otherwise you're waiting here for good old Captain Cole here to go through all of this dialogue, and it kind of stacks a little bit, so... It's even getting it a little bit is worthwhile, but yeah, I did mess it up a little bit, unfortunately. I'm going to replace my Spitfire now, and this Hellstar. The donation incentive is coming up, by the way, so I think we should probably stop that within the next 30 seconds. I actually forgot to tell you, I apologize.
The build war is now closed, and Hurt the Robot's Feelings won.
Cool, fair enough. Right, note to self, don't kill that robot. It comes after a little skip in a bit. Unfortunately, we can't skip this door. Somebody said the other day that they actually managed to do it. So now our elusive skip on this level is finding a way past this door and this lovely NPC who just doesn't open it until all the dialogue is done. So hopefully we can find that. And it looks like you're dying here, but you're actually not. So this is Abyss 2. There is Heatsink coming up. Heatsink skip is basically the Marvin that we're actually not going to be killing, thanks to everybody's donations. He basically stops the fan for like a second or two. We want to basically try and get over. Usually you can actually get over this gap a little bit, but I took kind of a weird route there, so I'm just going to again, play it safe. As you can probably guess from all of these electrified wires, they will kill you in a hit, so we're going to be doing our best not to die to them. shotgun out for this next bit. And we're going to be killing some of the enemies up in here. You're still alive somehow. Nice. So we kill the enemies there to make the door open a little bit faster. I think there's like specific enemies that you kill, but you have time to kill all of them. We'll be replenishing our 5 stars at the end of this level as well. So just a few more and then we'll get to heatsink. I take this corridor a little dangerously, I must admit. I really should stop doing that. So as soon as we hit this, it's going to turn off that fan.
Do not be afraid. Your dumb kid can take that fall.
Gonna... That's our Marvin. Note to self, don't kill him. And we got over. Hello, friend. Poor guy. Cool, so now that we have the arc tool, which is what we came in here for, we can now turn off the switches and stuff, like the fans and stuff. There's another little skip coming up in a second. Grab this wall, hopefully we can... Nice, that was good. That was actually really good. I want to cloak here because these guys can punch you off. You want to be a little careful with your movement here because even behind these, which are supposed to stop the wind, it can be a little bit weird. It can still push you around a little bit sometimes. So this is the next little skip. Want to use the momentum off of this and a bit of air strafing. I don't like the look of that, but good. That one always scares me. You want to come back in here a little bit, and I made sure to go in there just in case because there's an invisible trigger in that room where if you don't hit it, you can actually get yourself stuck coming up at the end here because there'll be a big giant invisible wall. So you want to make sure you go back into that room. You get pushed along by the big fans here, and then you get a small little bit until the end. If you didn't go back in for the trigger, the invisible wall is here, which as you can see we got past. So we are all good. We grab our 5 stars here. And we're coming up now onto Abyss 3. Abyss 3 has been completely transformed over the past few months. It used to be really long. It used to take us quite a while. We found a few things, like we found a quick way at the very end to skip out on BT having to throw us, which is still there. We used to be able to replace this module at the very end, which we're going to be going and grabbing, but that got patched out. And then we found the cool stuff, the really, really cool stuff. We found this technique. We're going to be going into this radiation chamber first. We've got a little bit of time, which is why I'm going to explain it all because there's quite a bit to explain. The first thing we want to do is we want to use moon boots. Moon boots is basically using the hover from the brute on either a ramp or the door, which I'll be doing. You can actually, basically, when you get out of the Titan, at the same time that it's like kind of on this ramp and it's kind of like running, the game thinks like you're in the air or something, and you can basically cut your gravity. I think it's 15 to 20%. I might be wrong on those, but you 100% cut your gravity a little bit. And because of that, it enables us to do so much more. Back in the past, we used to have this skip called Fastball, where in a little bit, BT's gonna throw us across a gap. Before we used to obviously do it normally, went through the level as per normal. Then someone figured out, why don't we jump when BT throws us? And it allowed us to get to the top of this silo. It was very, very precise and very hard to pull off. So combining moon boots with something that can throw you incredibly fast, BT, causes you to fly. And it's absolutely brilliant. It takes out a lot of the pain of fastball, which is why we call it super fastball. It is an absolutely brilliant little skip. We can't unfortunately skip to the end of the level. There's these invisible triggers that go along the level that must be hit. And you can actually miss one of them with super fastball. So I'm going to be going my safer route that will probably not do the full super fastball, but it'll do enough. So we have enough time to use Ronin Dash here. Ronin Dash is something that's going to be coming up towards the end of the run. You'll see me using it quite a bit, especially in the next level. Use the mouse. There you go. Again, the whole unfortunate problem with the loadout means I have to do that. I don't think that worked. I think that worked. I'm going to do it again. Gotta wait for it to recharge. That worked. Cool. So you'll see here that I'm basically going a lot higher on my jumps, and it looks like I'm floatier. It looks like I'm going slower when I'm not. I just wanted to make sure that I got that there, because I wasn't certain I got it the first time. I don't think I did. But you can see here, for example, like, you just go a lot further. So yeah, normal route, fastball, super fastball.
Analysis indicates a throw is our only option here. I can throw you across the gap.
So this is really cool. I'm just going to concentrate for a second to try and get this and not mess this up.
Wind, 3 knots, heading 274. Range, 95 meters. Projectile mass, 89 kilograms. Trust me.
Of course I'd mess it up.
Trust me.
There we go. That's more like it. I jumped a little too late, I believe. So now we're going to try and get as far across as we can, hopefully to this crane. I was supposed to hit the side of the crane, but I'll just take a bit of a safer route just in case after messing it up. So with actual, like the proper full super fast, you can make it all the way over to that corner. It's really, really fast and really, really awesome. So I'm just going to take a safer route. But basically you go to the right-hand side of this, and then you can just basically skip out on it. I'm going to take the safe route as well. I don't like the angle that I just took. So you want to be a little careful here, because because of moon boots, if we jump a little too high, we can like cliff at the ceiling and then get pushed out. I'm going to be trying something a little bit here. It's something that isn't new, but it's not something that I've implemented in my runs yet. I'm going to be taking these grav stars. Usually we're supposed to move that dish over, but what I'm going to do instead is, because of moon boots, I'm just going to go straight over. Nah, it's not going to work. Try again.
He may be attempting to draw us away from the Titan. 9. Focus on the pilot. I have other plans for the Titan.
I completely missed.
6 to Richter. The pilot's intentions are unknown. He may be attempting to draw us away from the Titan. 9. Focus on the pilot. I have other plans.
Give it one last go. Oh, I missed. Okay, cool. I'll do it like normal. Basically, you can use the grav star there to basically get across to the dish straight away. The timing on the grav stars is a little foreign to me at the minute, so I'm still practicing that, unfortunately. I was hitting it in practice, which is the really frustrating thing. Usually when you bring the dish over, there's supposed to be a load of enemies that spawn. Obviously, because of moon boots, I can actually just stop it a little early. That should be good enough for me to be able to get over. Let's find it out. Yeah, we're good. Cool.
The module is in the projector of that dish.
Now we've got the module. We want to take that back to the first dish that exploded earlier. So if you actually got the grav star skip, what you would actually do is you'd go on, there's like a little antenna on the end of the dish. You'd use that, and then you'd go up there and then land back down here. And because of moon boots, we can actually like start skipping out on platforms. A little scary. So I'm just going to take this a little safe. And again, thanks to moon boots, we can get up here really easily and just skip out going through the inside there. So there's a big old fight coming up here.
Welcome back, Cooper. Recommend we secure this area before proceeding with the repairs. Good shot.
2 grav stars for that. What I want to do is I want to go over here because there's a load of stalkers that will just jump there, so we can just take those out nice and quickly. So here, basically, the next trigger won't be until we've actually taken care of all the enemies. So we're going to be, I'm just going to go around and take out as many enemies as quickly as possible.
I'm engaging hostile infantry.
If we have any donations, now would be a good time.
We are actually still out of donations.
Cool. Someone up here, isn't there? Oh, I'm going to trust BT. I'm going to trust BT for him to kill all the rest of the enemies. And he did. Attaboy, BT.
All threats eliminated. Area secure. Are you okay, pilot?
Barely. It was tough. How are you, BT?
Damage report. Critical systems are functioning properly.
I just realised that was actually slow.
Evaluation time, certain Captain
I shouldn't have done that dialogue option.
Thanks.
So if you intentionally don't do the dialogue options, this comes down faster. As I said before, we used to be able to replace that when it was actually at the top, but there was a small chance that it would actually soft lock. Because this was one of the levels that actually went on the free weekend a few months ago, they fixed it so that we couldn't actually replace it early anymore, like in case anybody obviously got up there. Which is fair enough. It makes this... It lost us about 10 seconds, but then we started finding fastball, super fastball, etc. And again, the nice thing obviously is now, like, we've got everything else to just save other time in other places. Run it.
Cooper, the dish is back online. Get back here and we'll send this message to the fleet.
Cool, so now we've got one last thing to do, which is to take out Richter. And Moonboots also slightly works in your Titan as well. As you saw, I kind of just floated a little bit there. Like I said, enemies spawn based on where you're looking, so I'm going to intentionally be looking here, so the Reaper's actually here behind me.
Militia forces, lock down the control room. Threats.
I believe it's 2 shots and the missile salvo is enough to kill them. I'm going to be looking over here now. Take out these 3, and then 2 Titans are going to appear, a Ronin and I believe a Brute.
Caution. Anomaly detected. Possible hostile Titan.
So I'm just going to wait.
See ground squads. I'm looking for someone to promote.
Cool.
I'm also looking for someone to kill. You get to choose which one you wish.
This guy, the Brute, has a shield, so we want to hit him until his shield goes up. Do that. And a good old Ronin block the shots.
You all deserve to die.
Should have used my G, but I want to save that for Scorch Core now. So Richter falls independent on your position. I'm going to make him spawn at the back because I'm more used to this. I'm going to try pushing him back towards the wall now and then lay down the... I don't know what's happening through Richter though. I'm going to try and basically lay down the fires below him when he's backed into the wall so that he can't move, and then it'll do massive damage. And then hopefully we should get our core in that time.
Let's begin. Yours. Time to die, Grandma.
And that's Richter. Disembark boost? Disembark boost. That's the disembark boost. Glad I got to show that off at least once.
Rainier, fire it up. Yes, sir. Transmission sequence activated. Working. Transmission power 25% inclined.
So I quite like this room because this is one of those rooms where, like, even with Moon Boots and without, if you ever want to practice the actual air strafing in this game, I really like this room because there's obviously a load of obstacles in the way, like with people and the stuff on the floor, and even without Moon Boots it's good to practice in here because it's basically a square. If you can keep up your momentum going around it, then you know you've got it down, which is nice.
7274. Protocol 2.
We've got a load of good tutorials on every single skip, movement tech, stuff like that, all done by the community. It's on our community Discord. Whilst there's a big long cutscene here, I will shout out the other TF2 runners. We have a really nice community, really awesome bunch of people. We've had a load of new runners recently as well, so now's a really good time to start running it if you're curious and interested in the run. And we actually had a new world record about an hour before this run, a sub 126, which, that's crazy. Like, a few months ago, we thought sub 130 was the dream, and now all of a sudden, sub 125 is the dream. So, that's really awesome.
Request permission to retain this link.
You're lucky our backs are up against the wall, BT. Permission granted. That's high praise coming from a machine, Cooper. Thanks to your scan data of the Ark, we've tracked its energy signature to an IMC base right here on Titan. We don't have much time. Let's go.
So as Sarah's just said, we've found ourselves where the Ark is. We're going to be going there. This level is called Trial by Fire. This is the one I was talking about with the Titan loadouts. So this might get a little hairy, unfortunately. The stuff at the start should be fine. Basically, there's going to be a wall of turrets ahead of us. What we're going to do is we're going to use Ronin, which has its phase dash, to get closer to the wall. And the wall is supposed to like be exploded and then fall down. That wall doesn't actually exist. So we're just going to walk straight through it.
It is inoperable. Your mission is to capture the Ark before it can leave the airbase.
It's not a bad time, actually.
Weapons hot. Stand by for Titanfall.
So we're going to wait on the second before I can actually change the loadout. There is unfortunately no way to like get up there and trigger that early, the end point. There's more triggers in this level that we just unfortunately can't work in our favor. We have to actually do the level. It is possible to get up there. So you can see how fast our shield gets just torn up there. We also use this block, which is basically the Ronin core. Not Ronin core, but it's the Ronin sword. By going here, we can be right in the start of a load of enemies dropping in. I'm waiting intentionally so that I can build up my core. So I can switch to Scorch, and like I said, I need your battery, sir. Thank you. As you can see, Scorch Core got rid of a lot of enemies just then. Trying to remember to make sure that I need your battery as well. You tried to kill me. Oh, I should have switched to Scorch, never mind. Hopefully. Yes, she is. Sarah is behind us. We need Sarah to come with us. There's a point in the level in a little bit where it won't actually progress unless she's with us. Should be the door, I hope. So there's cool. Switch to Scorch. Scorch Core real quick to build up core again. So Sarah's AI. We have problems with Sarah's AI. She really likes to stay back here and for some reason try and kill every single enemy. Which doesn't mean these Titans, it doesn't mean this little Reaper, it means these little enemies. So on the way through we will be taking them out, and again we can't unfortunately quick loadout change. See that stomp? That's what she likes to do, and it wastes a lot of time. So we basically take care of them on the way through. Build up my core again real quick. Oh, the North Star isn't usually this far forward. But yeah, you can see how my damage didn't fully hit the Scorch there because of the shield. If you're wondering why I'm not using my core for these, we're going to be saving our core for this next section. Please be behind me, Sarah. Reasonably. Sometimes she can actually go ahead of you, which that's rare, but it's nice when that happens. So we've intentionally left our core here because Ronin Core is going to enable us to get a lot more dashes. Basically, Ronin Core just basically keeps refilling your dash a lot faster, a lot faster, a lot faster. And this part is basically just get to the end. At one point, I'll try and probably rebuild my core up. For this starting point, we're just going to basically be going as fast as possible.
Now let's finish this thing and get home.
Do you have time for a quick donation?
Yep, go ahead.
We have a $69 donation from Anonymous. MC Guffin, biggest in the game. Major key right there. Glasses jacket shirt. Who are these people?
They're my crew. Right, gonna try and take care of some of these Titans real quick. Some core. That was actually very slow. You would be in the way. You're always in the way, and these little guys are in the way as well. Like, this guy is the biggest pain in the backside of the entire run, if you ask me. Like, he will just either dash in your way or just stand there. Just, I'm not doing anything. Was that at the wrong time? So again, we just want to get to the end as fast as possible here. Am I going to get the Superman Brute of Destiny? Is he going to turn up today? He's not. So sometimes you can get a Brute that just, for some reason, flies like Superman and lands in front of these guys and then just explodes. No idea why. Sometimes happens, sometimes doesn't.
See you soon.
So my run is not being blessed with the luck of the Superman Brute. So, we're coming up to a level called the Ark. I am biting my tongue very carefully and choosing my words very, very carefully, because me and the Ark have a very long history and we do not like one another. There is a skip at the start of this level. You should not go for it until you go for a sub 130, which is what I currently am going for. It is called Barker Skip. It is... Ooh, it's a thing. So, this is the second place we'll be using our frag grenade to do a frag boost. BT is supposed to do another fastball to throw you over to E64. However, we're going to be skipping that and making the game a little confused. Hopefully. I'm going to give this about 3 or 4 attempts. I'm not guaranteeing that I'm going to get it because I can't get it myself, but I am going to try. If you ask people like casually what level they like, usually they'll say that they like this level. If you ask speedrunners what level they hate, it's the Ark. I hate this level with a passion that I just can't describe. And it does come from Barker Skip. By doing Barker Skip, we will be opening a box of possibilities where the geometry will glitch out, it can randomly kill you, you can get thrown into a wall and basically die inside the wall. There's a lot of things that can happen. I've had it where I have been inside a BT near towards the end with the Viper fight here, this lovely fella, where I will punch and I will watch as BT dies and I'm still inside BT. And the game will just stop. I hate this skip with an absolute passion.
I got you, kid.
I'm going to be trying it.
Brace yourself.
It is a marathon after all. So we've landed on Barker. We're going to wait. I'm going to use an audio cue, so I'm going to be a little quiet here. Line myself up with this, hopefully.
I need a pilot on board the Malta to secure the deck now.
Commander Briggs, this is Blackbird 6-4. We can get him there. BT, we need a fastball.
First time. First time. First time, and I messed it up. I was supposed to use the frag boost, and we even got in here. Nice. Wow, that's as good as it can go. Wow. Unbelievable. So, we've opened up that box of possibilities. We've already gotten past one of the silly things. There's a trigger in there for these guys to come out the lift. Can sometimes not go off. Like, that's a wonderful thing. We're going to be going over these gun batteries real quick, and we're going to be going towards the end. This is one of the places where you can get pushed into the wall. I would get it first time, wouldn't I? Like, you're supposed to use the frag grenade, but I jumped too early. So I'm going to take him out first. Oh, please don't glitch me at all. They're dead. That's pretty good. By taking these guys out quickly, before the stalkers over here come over, you can see that they all died. All the enemies died. As long as you kill all the enemies on this platform before any stalkers get over here, you actually skip a lot of stuff. I'm going to pick this Mastiff up, and then we're going to go down here. Okay, quick save here.
Good covering fire.
So we're going to jump on top of Sarah's ship here. Which again, pick my words very carefully because this has ruined my runs the past few days. You want to jump here because they're a kill field. Don't you push me off. Oh, Sarah, you and me are having problems lately. Ooh, I got real lucky there. I accidentally got pushed in the sky, and basically that used up my first jump. So I only had a single jump rather than a double jump. So now, because we're over here early, what we want to do is we want to try and kill all of these guys fast, and as you can see, my aim is impeccable. A little bit late for these guys, but hopefully most of them get hit by that grenade. Hello? I don't know if geometry or if I died on my own grenade. I thought I was far away enough. Was that an arc grenade? I'll take that real quick, because that will get rid of... I did not want to get rid of my Mastiff. Oh, never mind. I'll use the Spitfire instead then. Could you not? Why am I taking the MGL? Don't take the MGL, that's an awful weapon. Fine, I'll take the double take again. Oh, hello. I'm very late, this is a very bad room clear. You dead? There you are. Weird. Still alive. You? That's a bad room clear. I'm not even sure how I died. I can't tell if it was geometry or grenade. I thought I wasn't close enough for my grenade. But must have been. Oh well. So, right. What's coming up now is we go up to this console up here and we're supposed to steer the ships like one behind the other. So because we did Barker skip, one of the NPCs can actually slide into us and kill us. So we're on a slight time limit. And I'm hoping that because this is not my PC, that this will go a little easier than it usually does, because basically you have to line them up like behind one another, and sometimes it refuses, and it really does not like me. So hopefully, this bit's a little easier to do with a controller. I didn't get my controller out, so whoops. So I'm going to try and bring myself up now. Might be a bit late. Like, the hello? Thank you. Right, we have to intentionally stand back here. I don't know why exactly, but obviously because we jumped off of BT earlier, the game, I think, thinks that BT's over there. So if we're standing there when BT's arm comes through the wall, the game will intentionally hard crash.
Ready to transfer control to pilot.
I waited specifically until that point. You can go a tiny bit faster, but I just wanted to make sure I didn't mess up. And again, that punch glitch that I talked about could happen here, so... We've gotten through most of them. The punch glitch is the last thing that's left, I believe. Not quite sure why he's staying on there. I don't want to squish on time. Oops. Ow, bad. I'm going to just potentially fight Viper like this because my health is a little low. And you're going to do that. Just going to step behind this real quick. This is a bad Viper fight. The quick way to do this is actually running core. Ah, Viper. I really need some health. I'm going to use Tone and try and snipe him. It's a really bad Viper fight. No. Cool. I don't know why I've gone really bad at the Viper fight. I used to be really good at the Viper fight. I've just really gotten awful at it. So I don't have my Mastiff. I would usually have a Mastiff for this part, but obviously I accidentally dropped it, so I used the double take instead. Actually, no, I used the Spitfire.
Adjusting for wind resistance. Calculate.
So fast balling over to Draconis, where the Arc is situated. But Viper's not dead yet. So Viper's just helpfully taking us over there. Wait around here. BT just unfortunately lost his arm. I want to jump here because the force can send you back, and then we want to shoot Viper's pilot. That's bad. Usually I have a Mastiff there, and the Mastiff can actually one-shot him.
BT, you okay?
Left arm severed. However, I'm still operational.
Ah, looks fine.
Ship is rapidly losing altitude. It is up to us, Cooper.
A little on fire there, BT. So we're going to go in here and grab the Ark. But the rest of this level is basically just plot until the end. Nothing else we can really do.
You're approaching the Ark's containment unit.
And we found very recently that it is actually quicker to do both of the dialogue choices at the very end of this level. It saves about 2 seconds.
We must improvise.
Just going to wait for BT to punch his way into the thing containing the Ark. He can't reach, so we're going to go in there.
The Ark. Cooper, I need your help. Quickly, we need to get off ship. We are running out of time. This way, Cooper.
Unfortunately, things aren't looking good. So, spam the old dialogue now.
Get the Ark out of here!
Negative. We are trapped.
What are you doing?
Protocol 3. I will not lose another pilot. Brace for impact.
So yeah, whilst some of the dialogue options in the game are faster to just let go, doing that one actually is a lot faster. So as you can see, Blisk has captured us and BT. So now we're going into the final level, the fold weapon. We've got about 3 minutes of cutscenes at the start here. And one of the most amazing twists you'll ever see. Literal twist.
Blisk, your problems
Not
are
plot
not
twist.
my concern. Once you have delivered the Ark as per your contract, your payment will be transferred by the IMC.
Just have my money ready. I'll get you your precious cargo, you useless nav. Oi, Titan! You're gonna open up and give me what I want.
Voice command. Not recognized.
Let me just rip it out of him.
Can't risk it. The Ark's unstable. Listen, hero. You have what's mine, and I want it back. Go on. Tell your Titan to open up.
About what? His feelings?
Still trying to be a hero.
Ironically enough, the
I've a
funny
lot of
dialogue
ghostwriting
choices
on
are
this
usually the
contract,
faster
my
ones.
friend. So tell your Titan, if he doesn't open up, I will shoot you in the head.
Pilot in jeopardy. Ocular systems. Marginal. Cannot visually acquire pilot.
Stand him up.
Convenient red barrels on the left there.
See him now? Right here, right here. Yeah.
Never seen red
You see
barrels
him
in a
now?
video game before.
Functions compromised by severe
I
crash
don't
damage.
care how broken you are. I know deep down, some things still work in there. Now open up, or I'm going to shoot your pilot in the head. You still remember numbers, don't you? I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Nah, that wasn't so hard, was it? That's the problem with teams. If you don't win together, you die together.
Watch this spin. That's pretty good. So, if you have a high FOV, like we do, you'll notice on the right-hand side in a second, I think, unless it already happened, you'll notice that the a Titan actually like comes up from the floor, and Blisk actually goes down through the floor. It's pretty good.
Nice try, love. Stay going.
Alright, get the ark out of here! We're running out of time!
So unfortunately, Sloan has the Ark, and BT isn't looking too good. Also, don't mess around with fire in this room. Some of it doesn't exist, like this little pool of fire in front of us. Some of it does exist, like most of it. As I accidentally found out on a PB-based run.
Cooper, over here.
I'm fairly certain we can pilot that. Doesn't look too bad.
Uphold the mission. But you still can. Take the seer kit. It is your best chance for survival.
So, remember the seer kit at the very start of the game? Lastimosa was messing around with it during the pilot gauntlet. Basically, inside of said seer kit is a weapon that, if you know Titanfall, you know very well. It is the automatic pistol, and another data knife to hack consoles, which, if you've noticed during this game, you don't use knives to actually attack people, you use them to attack keyboards. So, in the future, we hack with a knife. And BT's data core. And now, time for the last level. So at the start here, it's mostly going to be a bit of movement tech. It's not going to be like any skips or anything. There's going to be a slight little hitch here. Yep, always happens. I'm going to get my momentum back. Took that jump a little weird. So we just basically want to get to a certain point, as you can see.
One click north of your position. We've only got one shot to turn this fight around, and you're it. Our fleet's moving in on the fold weapon. We're coming. It's not over yet. You're headed in the right direction. Just keep moving. The anti-air defenses are extremely heavy around the fold weapon. We're having trouble getting boots on the ground, and we're running out of options.
Cool, so in this section that we're just coming to here, we want to try and go above the top of this building, if possible. So I'm going to go to the right-hand side specifically here. I'm going to actually get up and go up here. It's a little slow, but I know I can do it this route. And nice, cool. So that saves like 5-6 seconds. Because otherwise you'd have to get to like that doorway, and there's like a little like corridor that you have to go through. So here's that random Titan that Sarah was talking about. Plug in BT's data core.
Hello, Jack.
Right, so we're going to be using Ronin here. It's going to be like Trial by Fire. We're going to be building up Ronin core, and we're going to be trying to go as fast as possible. And obviously, Ronin with its phase dash actually can go fast because of the phase dash. It gives you an extra dash. There is a little skip coming up, the last one of the game. Nice aim. Basically, this little skip allows us to go through a door. Before in the past, we actually used to have to rely on pushing one of the enemies into the door and getting lucky. However, someone clever decided to get out of BT and take a look at the door and realized, actually, the top half of the door doesn't exist. So we're just going to go straight through it. But we used to have to push that Titan into the door. I'm going to stun him so he doesn't mess me up. And we just could go through the door. I'm close to dying, actually. This corridor can be a little tricky. These guys coming up ahead, these robots have rockets. You don't want to get hit by them. Those rockets. And we're coming up to the final boss fight, although there will be a section afterwards. Kind of bad movement there. Whoops.
Powering up targeting responders.
So this is the Sloan fight. The Sloan fight isn't too tricky, but it is very it's easy to underestimate Sloan and her laser core.
Now go. My forces will take over from here.
That time they do something.
I think our militia pilot's trying to be a hero. He's all yours. Keep the salvage.
Who said anything about salvage? I'll do this one for free.
So I'm going to try and use Ronin Core at the start here because I've had a few really quick attempts with Ronin Core. Basically want to get rid of her, and again, oh, that's not good. Hello. Obviously enemies spawn based on where you're looking. That's kind of a pain. I wanted them to stay in the corner, so I could have used Scorch Core. Mostly still position. But if I didn't get caught, I could have gotten over there really quickly. I'm going to look intentionally down here, so that Sloan respawns down here. You don't have to kill this guy, but he does get in the way. So can you stay there? Because oh, you. This is why I wanted to look down at the left, so she'd spawn up there because of laser core. She has killed me a few too many times recently, so thanks, Sloan. Cool, so we're going to get some Reapers that appear here now. Take out this one on the left first. This brute really needs to stop. Try and get her to spawn here. Stop. It's because I turned around. So I'm going to switch to Ronin and attempt to use Ronin Core to kill her. Cool. That was okay. And now we're going to go get the Ark. Hopefully not get blown up by the brute that was behind us. Cool. Cool, so we've got about another 2-3 minutes of cutscenes, and then we've got the final escape. So I'll take this time again to shout out a few people. Again, shout out to Respawn, because this is a really good game, and they did a lot of really nice things for us in the speedrunning community. Shout outs to the Titanfall 2 community. They are an amazing bunch of people. I was having a few difficulties as well coming up to the run with my save being erased, and they've tried to help me out. They've got really comprehensive tutorials, documents and stuff like that on all the steps and everything. It's a really nice community to be in. Shout outs to Brian Arto, current world record holder, who just got world record again today. Shout outs to Angry Albino, who helped me and gave me his quick saves, which allowed me to practice a lot easier. Shout outs to Task, Deset, Tron for finding skips out of bounds, everything like that. And shout outs again to some of our newer runners. Kuo Games is hot on my heels, so I'm going to have to step up. My boy Drufa, he's starting to get there. He's going to be going on my heels as well within a month. Shout outs to the German Restream. I know someone there who wanted me to give them a shout out, so. And shout out as well, actually ESA. Yesterday I came to set up early, and because of them, they actually let me practice on this PC that I'd be using, and I've been able to just make it absolutely perfect to the settings that I wanted, so thank you very much to ESA. I appreciate that. Cool, so we have to hold W here, that's all we can do. As Sarah's saying, the only way we can destroy the fold weapons from the inside.
I have a solution. In its exposed state, my reactor core may be able to destabilize the arc at the center of the full weapon.
What are you saying?
We can blow it up. I'm sending you coordinates for a dropship rendezvous.
Coordinates received. We'll be there, but I don't see how you can.
Trust me, I have done the math.
I sure as hell hope so. We're on our way. Good luck, both of you. Briggs out.
So once this little bit is done, we'll be gaining movement. The final bit will be basically all about movement. The lower down on the platforms you are, the quicker you can go, but it is more dangerous, of course. And you can glitch into the wall. I've done that before.
Protocol 3, protect the pilot.
BT, what are you doing?
Try Trust me.
So unfortunately we have to say goodbye to poor old BC. This is the final escape section now. There's a few times here where Cooper has decided not to grab hold of the wall. There is a tree at the end of this run that I am very well acquainted with. I'm going to be doing my very best to avoid. This is one of the walls that Cooper sometimes pushes me off of. This is the wall you can glitch inside of. Time is coming up in a second. Once we do a jump off of this, and time. That's actually really close to my PB. That's really good, actually. Yeah, I've done all my shout-outs, so I guess, yeah, thank you all for watching. Yeah. I hope you enjoy the rest of the marathon. It's about 1:33. Real time, that is. I'm really surprised. First time Barker skip. First time Barker skip. Ah, that would have been great. It's not, unfortunately, a viable run because, unfortunately, I loaded the autosave. Yeah, but to be able to get that close to PB paces, that makes me happy. Even though I didn't play good for like half of that run, like I played awful for most of it.
First try. Seriously. You've got to be kidding me.
On a run that had already died because I used an autosave. on a quick load even.
Bloody typical.
Yep, probably.
Bloody typical.
Just go ahead and plug both those in, the pass through, I'll just put it in here. No, I do not. I am. I'm the whole Just Cause 3 community. Wow. There's no Discord, there's no nothing. It's just me.
I have it on my wish list. I
Okay.
promise.
It's a fun game. I'm gonna try and do my best to represent it right now. So.
Yeah, it looked really fun. It's just I don't have a computer to play it.
Oh yeah, no, and the port's not very good either. You know, I'm gonna be playing on pretty low settings and everything. Is this plugged in and everything? It should be turning on. There's nothing coming up for me.
What? Okay, if you set him up, I'll go and check audio.
So I'm not getting any video right now. PC's powered on, but I'm not getting any.
All right. That was Titanfall 2 by FroobMcGuffin. That was amazing. So now after finishing that and almost peeping, how does it feel?
It feels pretty good, actually.
Oh, it's not on. Whoops. We might need to turn that on first. There we go.
Cool. Yeah, it feels pretty good, actually. First time Barker skip doesn't happen for me, so I'm really happy with that. I actually thought most of my play was really bad. Most of the bosses that I was actually trying to beat, I actually played really bad before. So to be that close to BB pace was actually really good. Like, I'm really satisfied with that. I feel like I could have done a bit better, to be honest. I feel like I could have probably not just played a bit better, I think my commentary could have been a bit better, if I'm being honest. But I'm happy with how it went. Like, I was very, very worried going into it. It's gone pretty good. So.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. A lot of the people in the chat actually asked who your amazing gang behind you during the entire round was. I think some backstory is needed here.
Right. I had the D-O-F-F, the Doff. I had the Narrow, the artist formerly known as Desu, and he's called Tired, but he's not actually that tired sloth. We were in a clothing shop in the other day, and like Narrow found some Snoop Dogg shirts and decided we're gonna meme and we're gonna go along.
Actually, yeah, come on the camera so the audience can see. This is really amazing.
I was a little worried they wouldn't actually make it in time. They were almost 10 minutes late, but they got it just in time.
But yeah, that was some really sick shirts. And the hats and like the shades, everything. Wait, are those double shades you're wearing? Oh, it's glasses. Oh, okay. He's going for the double there. But yeah, back to Titanfall 2. Of course, this must have taken a lot of time practicing, you know, with all the jumping and wall kicks and trying to do the certain skips in the game. Could you just go into more detail about how much time or like pressure bunny hopping actually saves?
Sure. I mean, basically, when you do the movement correctly, when you're doing the kind of side straight and bunny hopping correctly, you keep up your momentum. So, like, there were certain points where I was just kind of like running rather than bunny hopping, and it's like being able to keep up momentum is fun. It's why optimizing the movement is probably the most important thing. Skips obviously. It can save a lot of time. It can save a good 2-3 minutes over the entire run. If you weren't to do any of the actual movement tech, it would be so much fun.
Yeah, but still saving 3 minutes, still a lot of time in a speedrun. Like every single frame is important. Thank you so much for the amazing run, and I really appreciate it. Other than Titanfall 2, you do also speedrun Attack on Titan, I believe. That was earlier in this marathon.
Yep.
Are there any other games you're focusing right now, or is it only those two that you mainly focus on?
I've made bad life choices. I made a promise to a certain friend standing over there that if they added the A to Z run of Nier Automata, I would learn and do that. Guess what they added this week? And I made another promise to a friend that I would do True N% in Persona 5, which is like a 20-hour run. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life and I have a lot of promises to keep.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Promises are made to be kept.
Unfortunately, yes.
But yeah, once again, thank you very much. Next up, we have Just Cause by Trilogy. So if you want to see that, make sure to stick around. See ya!
Are we live? Oh wow. Okay. All right. No one told me. Haha. Fake you out. All right. Let's get going then. That was the long stare down. So I'm gonna start a new game here. The timer starts when the HUD appears. So I will do intro and stuff after that. Also, I hope you like load times almost as much as you like escort missions, because that's it's a good portion of this game. All right. Well, the story of this game is not important. The hero Rico is trying to destroy his home because he loves it so much. And go. All right.